Well, hello there. Okay. So, I made this video. It was about 15 minutes. 13 minutes. Close enough. And then I pressed upload. But it did not upload. Sadly, it appears that it has crumbled into oblivion. The dark, sad abyss that is the World Wide Web. Now, don't fret, for it is not lost. We shall rise from these ashes like a phoenix, and we shall rebuild. I don't know what accent I'm doing. I'm just trying to speak a lot clearer than I usually do. And I can see that I talk with my head. I feel like Shatner. There's something on the wing. Something. Speaking of that, I need to watch Ace Ventura. I missed that movie. It's a great movie. I shouldn't say great. It's a hilarious movie. It's a funny movie. It's a good movie. I talked about so much stuff before it just stopped working. I talked how I felt about Halo 4 and how some people said that the Didact took over the Master Chief, and how it kind of offended me and how strange that was for me, and how I don't believe that's possible, and how I think the Didact's just going to be a little voice in his head. Maybe a little bit of conflict for control every once in a while, but that's it. I talked about my favorite games, how we just played through Skyrim and Assassin's Creed and Crysis, and how mind-blowing that game was. Talked about my beard a little bit, how I waited several years having to shave every single day, every morning, and how I swore that when I got out I wouldn't shave for a year. I'm at 3 months and a week right now, and it's good. I shave right here. I keep the neckline cleared out just because I want to go for that Leonidas beard. Kind of. It's not nearly dark enough. I got brown, but maybe I can go for an Obi-Wan. Go for that. And my hair grow out a little bit. Who's more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him? It's a good quote. By Obi-Wan, of course, for you people who are not Star Wars fans. It's just, I forgive you. Most of us wouldn't, but I do. Let's see. So what I was going to do is I was going to try to redo that entire video, but I don't take notes. Like, literally, all I have is my phone is off. I have these two movies I did a review about this morning, just chilling here. I have my Indiana Jones kind of hat right here. That's it. And then my dog's sleeping on my bed. So I got no notes. I just literally sat down and just went. And I went for 13 minutes. And it was cohesive. It was like straight. I just talked and talked and talked and talked. And then I even said, had a good goodbye and send off. And yeah, guys, let's do this. Let's do this together. But alas, it was not meant to be. Fate has intervened and grabbed my dreams by the balls and ripped them out. Just ripped them. And then here I am, ballless and without the video. And now I just start over, fresh. But before I got off the last video, I said that this will not be a remake. I will not do that other one. I'll end up talking about that stuff later. This one is going to be about one of my stories. It's just going to be me like telling a story, or just giving you the outline of one of the stories that I wish I had the patience to sit down and write. Okay. I don't have my notes. There's also a map that I've already drawn in the style of like Narnia and Mordor, Middle Earth, and all that jazz, and Algazia from like Aragon. I probably pronounced that wrong, but I pronounce it the way I want because I read it, and that's one of the things about the pronunciations. You may put the correct pronunciations in the back. I don't care about that. I will pronounce it the way I want, just like I imagine the characters the way I want. Aragorn is not that douchebag from the movie. That movie never happened. There are certain movies that never happened. I will give you the 3 top movies. Number 1, and above all else, The Phantom Menace. I don't put Star Wars with it because that is not a Star Wars film. It is The Phantom Menace, and it was a menace. 2, and these last two are not in any particular order because I don't know which one is worse. Dragon Ball Evolution. It's a horrible movie. Mm-mm. And then Aragorn. The only good thing about Aragorn was Irons. He played Braum. He did his best to salvage the giant turd that is Aragorn. Nothing made sense. Nothing was like the... Okay, the only thing that was like the book was there was a character named Braum, and there was a character named Aragorn, and there was a blue dragon named Saphira. There was also an elf who didn't look anything like the description in the book. There was also the Shade, which he looked like he should have looked. But then his crazy steed that he did not have, and then there was the Razak that they died in that movie, but they did not actually die until later in the books. Spoiler. Sorry if you haven't read it. Oh, yeah. I got sidetracked. I do that. So, in my story, it will start off with kind of like in the movies of the Lord of the Rings, where it started off with the battle for Middle Earth and the Great War of the Ring and Sauron falling, and then Isildur taking the ring for himself and being all, I'm taking it, and then he takes some arrows to the back as he jumps in the water, and then later on Gollum finds the ring, and then Bilbo finds the ring, and then he passes it on begrudgingly to Frodo, and then Gandalf, and his entire plan to destroy the ring happens and whatever. It's going to start off with like one of those preludes that happened in the beginning. And in the beginning, there were 3 brothers. There was a lot of stuff that happened before that, but I'm starting right here. I'm not going to go into like their beliefs and their gods and all that crazy stuff, because that's all laid out too, but I'm going into the story. There are 3 brothers. It reminds me of... Okay, I'll try to stay focused. 3 brothers. One is... Imagine King Arthur. He is a knight. He is a wise knight. He specializes in warfare and that kind of stuff. He lives by the sword. He has that kind of plate armor, and that's where he lives. He's the eldest brother. Then there's the next brother under him, and he is, imagine, Robin Hood. He relies more on the bow, his guile, his stealth. He does things very politically. He kind of introduces politics into it, where the first one is more what you say is what you get. You shake your hand, that's your word, that's your bond. And the second brother is not the same. Words are just tools, and he can twist things. But those 2 brothers get along because they're both war-minded brothers. Like, one's bow and arrow. He has his archers and all this kind of stuff. They're like, that's his specialty, and he trains them. Then you have his knights over here for the older brother. Then there's a third brother, and they don't like this one. He's a magician. He's a wizard. And he wasn't always a wizard. Um, in his young teenage years, he found something that made him into what he is now. They, the two older brothers, this being a superstitious people because they are like the Nords of Skyrim or the uneducated people of Rohan or Gondor or the Lord of the Rings, are not scholars. They're gonna have superstitions. They think that their brother is possessed by some devil. So they run him out of the country. He uses his powers to heal people. He becomes like the doctor. He's the healing brother. But they don't like it because he wins all the people's hearts by what he does, but they use their might and their armies to chase him off. They don't catch him. He runs to like the farthest country in the east and hides there. Well, they recede back to their countries and they become one becomes afraid that the other's going to take his power. The older brother is fine. He's the high king of everything. He's fine with his power. He isn't trying to like take away his brother's lands or anything like that. Because in the end, it's all his land. But his younger brother, the archer guy, is worried that they're going to take it. So he plots against his brother and attacks him. Doesn't win. The dude's armored and he's like a paladin style, like heavy plate everywhere. But that causes a great rift in that family dynamic. So they war at each other and they divide a nation, and there's like a very clear divide, like country to the north, country to the east. Then there's the eastern lands where they don't go. That's where their third brother, the magician, lost himself and vanished. And after that, years go by. They forget about their differences because they eventually have treaties and they work it out. But their superstitions about the magic using brother, the devil king, or the devil prince as they call him, that escaped to the east, is still a great fear now, not only in the royal families, but in the people. It's spread. The country of the east is known as Castive. His nation has built up and has become great. He's founded a nation over there. There were people there and he turned it into a nation. These brothers have long since died. This is now like, I want to say, I had written about 2,200 years later. Those kings and the brothers, they're dead. But the family lineage is still running the country. And it's, hey, don't go to the east. They're devils over there. Well, these two countries unite and they attack. I have to be quick. I only have a minute and a half. Castive and his magic using men, because he teaches them what he knew. So they're all like magic users, but they use a simple blade, and some of them use bow and arrows, but they're not anything as proficient as they are. But they are very proficient in magic. They attack, but the king of Castive realizes very early on their numbers they overwhelm us. No matter how well I had prepared, they're going to overwhelm us. So with his last bit of strength and his last bit, like everything he had, he ripped the earth up. Like imagine you grab the carpet and just tear it up. He grabs the earth with his magic, pulls it up, and slams it back down, causing a giant wave to come up, and it creates almost like a wall, destroying most of their army. Not the cast of magicians. Those were protected. The two opposing armies were decimated, and cast of the king died. But whenever you overuse magic, you become a statue in your last moment. And that's the way the book starts. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed that, please comment below, like, subscribe. Let me know. Let me know what you think about the story, what things I can change. I haven't told anyone about this story. It's all been up here. No one else knows about it, really. So, yeah. Let me know what to do, and thank you for watching.